Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Meth, alcohol, dragonfly, heroin, coke, crack, codeine, oxys, perks, Vikes, PCP, LSD, Dilaudid, mescaline, mushrooms, bath salts, Toradol. I got Molly, I got Sister Sandra, I got Frank, I got birth control, I got Plan B, I got that morphine from China that took off the market. Shit to make your dick hard, shit to make your dick soft, shit to find your dick. That's your dick from Kenya. It's supposed to be a story killer, some black gorillas, but for gorillas, you just want some violently masturbating. Did I say crack? Because I got really into it.
It's just a code.
We're talking about the Jack and Triumph show, and I'm here.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And Paul, we finally got the name of the new Star Wars movie.
That's the only reason why you wanted to come over and record today.
Just today, and I'm at work. Now, the good thing about that is part of my job is I kind of have to be online as part of my job with the work that I got to do. So, of course, my fucking Facebook feed blows up. Last Jedi, Last Jedi, Last Jedi, Last Jedi. So then, of course, all the speculation. Everyone goes, what does that mean? Because obviously Rey is some sort of Jedi, or she's at least trained, or she's at least...
She's not trained.
No, she's not trained. She at least has potential. Luke, at the end of the movie, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Force Awakens, but then again, if you haven't seen Force Awakens, what the fuck are you watching this show for?
He's got a good point.
At the very end of the movie, we finally see Luke Skywalker. Rey brings the lightsaber to him, and then it cuts away. So what does that mean, The Last Jedi? Now, of course, a lot of people are like speculating, like, does that mean Luke Skywalker dies in this movie? We lost Han Solo and Force Awakens. If we lose Luke Skywalker in this movie, because obviously now they have to rechange everything. Now that Carrie Fisher died, like it's sort of like, what are we going to do now? It's going to
be interesting what they do, because they can't really just, if they were going to kill off Luke, they can't really do that anymore. So it's kind of.
I mean, well, they could. I don't know. I mean, I think they kind of have to kill off Carrie Fisher, because then she's not going to be in Episode 9 unless they like. I think they're going to either do one of two things. They're either going to CGI her, which they don't really want to do apparently, or they're going to just, like natural death or natural causes or something. Yeah, I think she's going to do something heroic. She's going to sacrifice herself. They're going to make it look like, all of a sudden everyone's going to like, well, what's the princess doing? Or what's the general doing? And she's turning the ship around. Where is she going? She's going headfirst into the Star Destroyer. And that's going to be like, then they're going to give her like a hero's funeral.
Went way too far with that, but all right.
But it's going to, they're going to they're going to have to make up a story on why she's not there anymore. But, how awesome would it have been if Leia got Jedi training? Like, I mean, of course it's too late now, but had they?
I mean, she doesn't have Jedi training, but as you could see in Force Awakens, she obviously has Jedi powers.
Yeah, because she feels like when Han Solo dies, she feels it, like she's like, and then so
don't have a heart attack.
Yeah. Oh no, not yet. So I mean, but something that someone brought to my attention and I shared on my page. Jedi is a plural, like moose and moose. There's no moosin, there's no mooses, there's no geeses. Jedi is a plural word. So the Last Jedi could technically mean the Last Jedi. Even though it's Jedis, even though there's no proper word for a word that's made up. But I mean, it could be the Last Jedi.
For me, like I'm kind of hoping that what happens is this turns into like this is kind of like this is going to be the setup for like this huge final battle where the Jedi pretty much finally take control of everything again. And I'm hoping that what ends up happening is we get to see like a huge Jedi force show up eventually. But I don't know. See, that's the problem. Like, it's kind of like they said in Force Awakens that basically there's like, everybody that Luke trained except for, what's his name there?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren is dead, isn't he? Because Kylo Ren killed everybody or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like...
It's like half that movie, I mean... Don't get me wrong. Of course, we're all excited about Rey and Finn and what's his face, the pilot. But half the movie is going to be explaining what the fuck happened to Luke Skywalker. What I'm saying?
And do keep in mind that even if Luke quote unquote dies, there's probably that whole thing of where he'll become like Jedi ghost, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
But it's like, okay, let's just say they switch it around and he doesn't die. Because now this is the second movie in the series. The way Empire Strikes Back was the second. Now when Empire Strikes Back, it ended like with a lot of bad shit happening, Han got stuck by Boba Fett. Luke gets his hand cut off, finds out Vader's his father. All this bad shit. So I wonder if they're going to use like the death of Carrie Fisher, like the death of Princess Leia. Like maybe that's going to be, this is going to be the dark one.
Well, she did. See, they did kind of set up, and I don't think this was actually in the movie. I think this was an extra. Oh no! This was a scene that they had in the script, the original script, but they didn't put it in the movie where they were talking about General Leia or General Leia. Yeah, General Leia is her new name. And they were saying like why she doesn't go to that. It's not Coruscant. It's a different planet where the Senate is. Well, obviously they're dead now, but
yeah. Well, where the new Senate convened.
So basically, what happened was they. I'm trying to think here. They kind of. They had alluded that the reason she doesn't go up there is because of the First Order and because pretty much the minute that she gets close to that planet, they would kill her.
Oh, okay.
So.
It's better she stays in hiding.
So basically, I think what's going to end up happening is she's going to try is she's going to make the ultimate sacrifice and go to the Senate to bring them all together, and then she's going to get shot.
And then she's going to get assassinated.
Exactly, and that's what causes the whole war.
And like these movies, like they can keep it family friendly, where you just hear like a gunshot, you see everyone's reaction, you see everything but the laser hit her. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then like, the general's been shot or whatever. Yeah, that's a.
Is that a good idea?
With her being brave enough to like.
And do think about this too. We probably will actually find out who Snoke, whatever his pronunciation is. We'll probably find out who he is too in this one. I would hope.
Yeah. I think my prediction is by the end of episode 9, it's going to be Rey, Luke, and a converted Kylo Ren from bad to good.
Yeah,
fighting Snoke. That's my prediction.
I'm not really sold on the fact that Kylo Ren is completely evil. I honestly think that what's going to end up happening is he's eventually... I think it's actually going to probably... this would be actually a good idea now that I'm thinking about it. Where he... And by the way, I love how we're doing the nerdy news in the beginning here.
Yeah, no, please. We'll get
to the other thing that everybody's been waiting. Plenty of time
to talk about the inauguration and everything that happened.
We'll talk about movies 10
for the fans' sake. Let's just stick with the nerdy news for now.
So I honestly think that Kylo Ren is basically going to come to a point where he is broken up by the fact that he killed his father, because he doesn't. It was really weird to see, like, he's no Darth Vader.
Yeah,
he's very emotional, and the problem is that he's not sold completely on being on either side of the Force. Yes, he was a bad guy in that last one, but it just seems like I don't know. It just seems like he's not there yet.
Well, let me throw this out there. He kills his father, then his mother dies, sacrificing himself. That takes a fucking toll on him, and he realizes that maybe he shouldn't. Maybe he was backing the wrong side all along. Sees the light side and helps Rey battle Snoke and Luke. Luke has to be. That's just me. But The Last Jedi.
You know what would be interesting to throw? I want to throw a little wrench in this too, and I'm hoping that they do this. I don't think they would. I don't know if what's his name would do it, but throw Kenobi in there somehow. No. Wait. Let me stop there. Wait a minute. No, you can't. It would be hard to do that, obviously, because then people are going to complain. Well, you didn't use what's his name? Not Ewan McGregor. Was it?
Yeah, Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor. Not if you use Ewan McGregor, the people are going to get pissed because that's not the old Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anakin Skywalker. Think about it. Now, people don't like who Anakin Skywalker was played by, but think about
it. His ghost is good, so he gives Luke advice on how to.
Right, and when he came back as a ghost, they set it up in the special edition that he's
good now. His final sacrifice, killing the Emperor,
right,
brought him back to the good side.
We've never seen him interact with Luke,
so
and
he could communicate with Luke. And really, I mean, look. I don't want fucking Hayden Christensen, but technically, and I roll my eyes when I say this, technically, you can get Hayden Christensen just to do the voice.
Have him as the ghost too. If you're gonna do it, just do
fucking
it.
Eye rolling.
But think about it. No. Listen.
I mean, I like the idea of Anakin Skywalker's ghost coming to see Luke.
Listen to me. No. Let me finish.
Let me finish though, because gouge my eyes out.
Here's the thing. This is where you have to understand something. I'm not saying he goes and he sees Luke. What happens is he ends up connecting with Kylo Ren because Kylo Ren looks up to Darth Vader, and basically what happens is Anakin pretty much turns him to the light side, where he sits there and he says, "Look." You need to make a decision here. Yeah,
you're following me down a path, and that's a path that even I didn't go. Yes, I was this person, but that was a mistake that I regretted my entire life, or something like that.
That would be a great story. I'm not saying you have to have Anakin Skywalker through the whole movie. Yes, I understand some people don't like him.
Or just use his voice, man.
Exactly.
Look, like I said, I'm not a fan of Hayden Christensen, but.
I think they'll end up using him.
Oh God!
Shut up!
It could happen.
Do you understand that? That's a good storyline.
It's a good story. It's just fucking
that would flip him to the light side because he looks up to him. Mm-hmm. And in a time where his mother dies, where he's in crisis, and then all of a sudden Anakin, that triggers him to be able to see Anakin. And that's his
role model,
his grandfather.
Yeah.
So then he would sit there and go, okay. He would sit there and be like, "Look, do not go down the path that I did. Mm-hmm. Go to the light side and defeat Snoke, or this will be your last battle." Mm-hmm. And then that's where we lead into Episode 9, and then it's just riddle me this: Kylo Ren, what's her name there? Rey. They form a new Jedi Order, and then they're able to defeat Snoke. Because remember, Snoke has his own Sith army kind of, because Kylo Ren has those. What are they? The Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
So, do you see what I'm saying?
The straw that breaks the camel's back is when Snoke kills Luke. Luke dies.
I don't know.
Before,
I think
they plan or something like that.
I think because here's the problem. Because you end up. I think if they're smart here, they're not going to do what they did with Episode 3, where all of a sudden, Luke is dead, and then he's following people around as a fucking Jedi ghost kind of deal. But I honestly think that if they do this the right way, instead of Luke Skywalker dying, I think a better idea would be he gets severely injured, and eventually by some point in Episode 9, he comes back to he recovers fully, and then there's. I think what a better idea would be is to have Luke Skywalker fighting Snoke, whatever. I don't know.
Smoke with the end.
I've heard both pronunciations of it, so it's kind of like when people come to the movie theater, they sit there and they say 50 different pronunciations of a movie, and it's just then you start saying it and you're like, oh fuck, I said it wrong.
Stupidity is catching.
It's like AT. It's supposed to be at or whatever it is, and you get that. But I digress. I mean, I think they could go a lot of. I don't want them to kind of try to recycle storylines or make the appearance that they're recycling a storyline. You know what I mean? Because people didn't really like the fact that in Force Awakens they pretty much did the same thing that they did with the Death Star. I mean, yeah, it's different way it was destroyed, different environment, but still. same way they destroyed the Death Star, basically. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Like, and people, and Disney's not stupid. They're gonna listen, and they're gonna go, okay, you can't do that now. And especially now with Leia gone, I don't think killing Luke would be a smart idea. I think Luke should not be kind of one of the main focuses. I think that he should be kind of as the mentor in this,
like a Yoda / Obi-Wan,
right? But in a different context, as in I think what would be a great touch to this would be after everything's over in episode 9, because I think that's where they're going with this, and they may go beyond it. Who knows? It's Disney. They could do that if they wanted to. They pretty much bring it to where just Luke Skywalker, instead of dying, just fades away and becomes a Jedi ghost kind of thing, because he's served his purpose, and now and again, let's. I know we're going way far ahead here, but that's to assume that. When we get to episode 9, there's a new Jedi Order at the end, which I would hope. That would make sense to me, because that would be, I think that would bring things full circle. The first trilogy was the Jedi Order and its downfall. The middle trilogy, which we all know, is the Empire. And
ending with downfall. Return of the Jedi.
Right. And then now I think this is kind of... Jedi versus the Sith. This is the final battle. This is the battle where we decide, okay, who is going to be... Is it going to be the return of the Sith and the Empire? Which, it's the First Order, but it's the Empire. Shut up. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's still the Empire. I'm sorry. Yeah. You can spin it whatever way you want, but whatever. Or it's the Jedi return and we bring the Republic back. You know what I mean? And I think that would be a great thing to see. I think people would be happy with that. I think they just need to make sure that they do this the right way and not fuck it up, so to speak.
Yeah, and I mean, even though J.J. Abrams only directed the first one, he's going to be involved in these, and he's going to be.
He's supposed to be involved.
He's not directing, but he's
I know he's pissed that he's not involved. He's not directing this one, but
I think he did that on purpose.
Disney.
There would be a lot of stress on him, and he would just and he'd say, "Look, yes, I'll get you started. I'll get the ball rolling on the new one." Okay.
That was on. It was an alert I got, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think he just, like he said, you know what? If I dedicate myself to 3 movies, I'm gonna be pulling my fucking hair out for the next fucking 8 years. You think about 3 movies,
no, it's like plus 6 years.
Yeah, I would say 6 years in between, and then like with the idea that they're fucking they're cranking out these movies every 2 years. And you kind of have to. You have to play nice with the in-between movies, because I'm pretty sure the in-between movies are going to give us little things. Like, there's going to be characters. I guarantee you that by the time we get to episode 8, something from, like, Rogue One is going to pop up in episode 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what it is, but, and the same way they have, like right now they're rumored that, there's going to be, like, a Han Solo movie. There would be, like, okay, Jen just joined us. And right now, Jen, we've actually started the show with the nerdy news. So we'll get to, I don't know if we ever get to the political stuff. But right now, let's just keep it nice and light with the nerdy news. Something from Rogue One is going to pop up in episode 8.
I don't know.
Or vice versa. Or like if we have the Han Solo movie, they're going to introduce someone, I don't know. Maybe in the Han Solo movie, we'll find out who the fuck Snoke is in the Han Solo movie or something like. I'm just saying like.
But you also have to take in consideration too that they're probably, and this is just my thought process. And again, I hate how they would recycle things, but they're probably going to end up trying to build some kind of like Death Star or whatever to try to take down that storyline. I could see happening again. I mean, it would make sense that they would be trying to come up with some kind of weapon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't know where they would go with this, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of... That part I'm kind of like, eh. And also, it's kind of like, how big is the First Order?
Okay, well, okay. now it's something that's popped in my head. In Rogue One, they showed us Jeddah. The resting... where, like, the Jedi temples were at one point or whatever. Episode 9, like that's the fucking height of the conflict, could happen back on Jeddah. You know what I'm saying? Like, they introduced it in Rogue One, and okay, here's the temples and all this other bullshit, and like okay, and Rogue One uses it just to have like a couple of scenes on, but then we go back to Jeddah in episode 9, like, oh shit, this is where the fucking big fight between Snoke and Leia and Luke and Rey and Kylo Ren is going to happen.
Here's what I could. I think that it would be smart if the Jedi were to use that place. I could see them definitely going back and using that.
Like that's where Luke ends up, starting the New Order, where the old order died.
Right.
Yeah.
But there again, I mean, we're already saying that's assuming that Luke is going to be alive then. But I mean,
with the return,
I don't know. I don't know if I would say that Luke would be the one doing it. I would say like you're probably going to see, like I said, you're going to see Kylo Ren. You're going to see her. You're going to see her also being involved in training these new people. And here's the other thing too. We're going to find out probably in this episode who Ren's
you mean Rey?
Who Rey's
parents
Rey.
are?
Yeah, who her parents are. And if it is what we think it is, we'll find out. It's got to be something. You got to say that it's Kenobi. It can't be because, well, I mean, the only other thing that it could be is a surprise where like Luke Skywalker had sex with some girl, but you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, like it's his daughter. You know what I mean? Because that was Anakin's lightsaber, and then it was his lightsaber, and now it's her lightsaber. You get what I'm saying? But there again, Kenobi was involved with that saber, so it's like, there's some possibilities here, but we'll see. I think we've talked a little too much about this though, so let's move on. We'll have more. Trust me, we're getting close to December, so we'll have
more. I mean, because nowadays, we got Rogue One out of the way. Rogue One came and went, and whatever effect it had.
Too.
But I'm just saying, is like I guess I thought in my heart of hearts thought they were going to give us at least a teaser for Episode 8 during Rogue One.
Yeah, like there hasn't been one yet, and that's the surprising part.
They let the wave come and go. Rogue One. I mean, not people aren't rushing to theaters to see Rogue One right now, and then. So people
are still watching.
Now we can be excited for Episode 8. Like they didn't let Episode 8 take away any of the thunder from Rogue One, which I still don't like Rogue One, but I understand why they did it.
Right.
And let me see. We are a couple minutes till our break. We're about 6 minutes away from the break, or actually more like 8 minutes. Speaking of movie theaters showing movies at an old, I guess we kind of get some local news in here.
Yep.
Speaking of movies where do they go after a while? Local Rochester news here. The Movies 10 Theater, Cinemark, it has closed officially for good.
Yesterday.
And to those who don't know, and obviously a big chunk of our audience does not live in Rochester, a lot of towns have what they call the second run theater, the $2 movie theater, the $1 movie theater, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
The Movies 10, I was introduced around the time I first came up here to Rochester, where, a friend of my baby mama was sort of like, oh, dummy guy, whatever. He's like, oh, you want to go see cheap movies? You got to go to the Movies 10 in Henrietta. And so that's how I got introduced to it. I've went there God knows how many times. It's 4 movies, like a Rogue One. Like Rogue One came out right before Christmas. So here we are, middle to end of January. The steam is kind of letting out of that. It would kind of go over. Well, Rogue One's probably a bad example because Rogue One's going to be. They're going
to stretch that out in the main theaters for a while until it's like nothing is trickling out of it. So,
but basically, what it was doing is it was giving movies like. Pretty much the same day the movie came out on DVD,
right?
You can go out to the Movies 10 and see the movie there for $2. And right towards the end, it jumped up to $3 because it used to be $2, and then right at the end, it jumped up to $3.
People that are watching the live feed say hello to the kitty.
Oh,
kitty! Kitty! Hopefully, he doesn't jump down.
And actually, I was just at the Movies 10 about a week ago because with my new job, I had worked. Extra hour and a half really one day. And so my boss said, look, we don't want you working overtime, so take a long lunch. And he goes, but I couldn't take a lunch longer than 2 hours. It's stupid rules. So I said, all right, I'm going to go see The Accountant. I actually went to go see Ben Affleck as The Accountant, which this movie is such a fucking prequel to Batman. I think they purposely made this movie so they could give Ben. I think like they said, you know what?
It always comes back to Batman.
It all comes back to Batman. I think what they did was they said, you know what? We need a movie where we have Ben Affleck shooting a gun and fighting guys hand to hand. So while he's in training to do Batman, let's put him in a movie that's going to give him training to shoot and fight. Because this movie, for all intents and purposes, then part of the accountant, which I hate to veer off on a tangent here. Part of the accountant, when he's a kid, because
why am I not surprised?
He's a for the lack of a better term, in the movie, he's like a high functioning autistic guy who learns about numbers. Like he's good with numbers, and then with that being I don't want to say special power. It sounds like a superhero. With him having that talent, he realizes that he can make a lot of money, like laundering money for the underworld and crime bosses and stuff like that. So they show these scenes back when he's just a little kid. And when he's a little kid, one of the things his parents used to calm him down is the poem about Solomon Grundy. Solomon Grundy, which is a character in Batman, but it was based on like an old nursery rhyme. Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, married on a Tuesday, dead by Friday, whatever. The kid says the Solomon Grundy poem in The Accountant. And then later on, and the funny thing is I didn't even get a chance to finish watching this movie because I had to go back to work. So he kind of has a place where he keeps all his stuff, and obviously makes a lot of money. And a spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen the movie. Okay, Jen says the feed's breaking up on her. I don't know. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on.
I see a clear live feed right here.
But we're seeing live video. It's not. But I don't know what we can do because I'm not streaming anything right now, and probably I don't know. Sorry, Jen. So with that, it looks nice and clear on this end. Yeah. But then again, all right, back to the.
It could be just the sound. Who knows?
So back in the movie,
I love how we started talking about movie theater, and
and then I have to bring it back to Batman. Then, so what happens is he goes, and spoilers for people who haven't seen the Accountant. Obviously, like it's a place where he stashes all his stuff. He stashes his money. He has fucking paintings that are like Renaissance paintings. He has so much money he doesn't know what to do with. So he opens up his drawer, and he has like a Superman #1 comic book in his stuff. So this is such obviously I think it's little nods to him that he's gonna be Batman. So it's so good. Oh, Jen says don't know. I don't know, Jen. I'm sorry. So with that, the Accountant was the last movie I saw at the Movies 10. I loved going there. Like I said, it would be movies that were like just came out on DVD. You know what? Being the father of a 6-year-old girl who can't fucking sit still for more than 15 minutes. I don't mind paying $2 or $3 for us to go to the movies if she's going to run around a movie theater. Right. If I'm only paying $3 or $2. They had the second run kids movies. I took her there. God, pretty much every movie that she's seen.
Well, now you're just gonna have to go to the cinema. I guess.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to go and pay fucking full price for fucking.
No. I mean, they do a double feature for you can pay you pay either for the double feature, or you pay for the movie, and it's just as cheap. Actually, I think it's cheaper now because Movies 10's prices went up. But that guy was actually funny story. He was asking I guess he was reaching out and being like, "Hey, does any of those employees want to come over here?" And I'm sitting there going, "You don't want to work for that asshole." So before Chris goes on a tangent, let me tell you what happened. So, basically, what's going on here is the second run movie business. Well, let me first start with this. Cinemark has one of the weirdest setups that I've ever seen in a movie theater company because they have their first run, which is like every other movie theater business. They have their first run theaters. The one in Gates here, Tinseltown, the IMAX theater, that's first run. And then they have a second run business. It's so weird because they actually had 2 different district managers for that. So it was like one was for the one in Gates and one was for over here. Obviously they covered other theaters in the area, but it was just... And
for the outside people, Tinseltown is like the one place in Rochester where if you want to go see the IMAX theater and it is the big
Right.
fucking mamma jamma giant IMAX screen, 75 feet. I mean, I don't know if it's 75 feet, but I think hearing once that it was like 75 feet. Oh, Danny says, hey guys, at work again. Only a quick say hi. Well, I mean, you can check it out later, Danny. Thanks a lot. But the Tinseltown Theater, so pretty much anytime there's like I saw Batman v Superman there, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy there.
Because you're a traitor.
Tinseltown is like the big mamma jamma IMAX theater. It's the only one,
Right.
I think it's the only IMAX theater,
Yeah, they haven't quite decided if they're going to do more than IMAX, if they're going to allow more than one IMAX per area. But
and then Tinseltown also has the luxury seating.
Right, and Cinemark. So Cinemark is affiliated with that. You can use their gift cards there. Blah blah blah. It's the same thing. So what happened? So what's going on is obviously the second run business is not doing as well as it should be. Because of Netflix,
you could go
Redbox.
You could go to Redbox. Is it now? And I didn't even know. Redbox raised its price also because Redbox. I think I rented Death Race 2050, that new movie.
They can. Well, and you also got to keep in mind too. There's also that if you go to there's one in Brockport, there's one in Shiloh. It's called Family Video. It's actually a rental place, like Blockbuster.
There's still rental.
So there's still a rental place out there. So it's not like that's completely dead, but it's still around. So the point that I'm trying to make is what happened was did it have something to do with the second run business? Yes. I mean that was one major component of it, but the problem that occurred was Cinemark does not own the building that Movies 10 is in, which shocked me because I thought, there it is in the middle of a parking lot. I'm like, you would think that they own that, but okay.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing when I worked at Rite Aid. They didn't own the building. The store that I worked in and closed.
Like there's my company, and I don't really want to get into where I work. Has a building out here. I know they own it for a fact. Mm-hmm. So it's like it just kind of, I don't know. I sit there and I go, why didn't they own this in the first place? But I digress. Whatever. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. So basically, the thing that was like the thing that broke the camel's back was, the owner of the building wouldn't lower their price. I've heard, I don't know if this part's true, and again, I'm not going to reveal who I heard this from because I don't need to get in trouble. But no, I don't work for Cinemark, by the way. I know that they weren't going to lower the price, but I also heard that they possibly were trying to raise the price on Cinemark, which I thought was really stupid. And then it wasn't just that, because I think they would have been fine with that, like even if it was just a small increase. The problem is the roof. There's problems with the roof. I don't know if it was just the air conditioning units on top and it was the roof, or it was just the air conditioning units.
Yeah,
but I
water damage. All these movie theaters always have flat roofs, which is never good when it comes to collecting water.
Here's what happens: is you got to understand, folks. Is like some of these, like that was there for 20 years. Apparently, like there's like 14 units on top there. Mm-hmm. Like they weren't gonna, like the owner didn't want to do anything with them. He refused to help them fix anything. Mm-hmm. So because of that, and usually when you do a lease with a company, like for example at a mall, when you do the mall, they help you with the roof. Now, obviously, you have to take care of the HVAC, but they'll do the roof because you're renting from them.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't help. He wouldn't do anything. So that's why they're leaving. Also, I think it's closed, but the reason why Cinemark didn't really say anything is because they were still in negotiations to try to open this theater back up. Mm-hmm. Or not to open it back up, but to keep it open.
Yeah.
Because, again, they don't want to, if they're going to keep it open, they're not going to, charge, they don't want to sit here and have to raise prices, number one. But number two, they don't want to have to, they don't want the roof caving in, so to speak. They don't want,
that'd be a lawsuit.
And there again, like if they can get a lower price, I mean, if they're going to keep the second run movie theater open, here's the kicker. Like this, I know for a fact. They actually hired in December. They hired like a bunch of people, thinking that they were going to still be open. And then all of a sudden they got the thing that they were going to leave. They were going to be done.
Got the pink slip.
Right. So.
Well, actually, I mean, I did hear that some of them are moving to Tinseltown and some of them are being.
Yeah, some of them are being moved to Tinseltown. Some of them, somebody might be stealing. I'm not going to name names. But, yeah, I mean, it's a shitty situation. Like, I I can understand why they did it. I hope that they, it would be nice to see them open it back up. But, honestly, like, if they don't open it back up, it's going to mean more business for my theater and, all the other theaters in the area. And to be honest with you, Chris, like, the movie theater business, and I don't think it's just Rochester, it's probably other places too, has been very overly saturated. So I don't know what's going on, but, I think it's going to ultimately be a good thing for all the theaters in the area. So
yeah, I just call me spoiled. I like going to the $2 movie, the $3 movie.
Excuse me for a minute, but my cat's looking like he wants to try to jump down. I'm
down.
trying to make sure that he doesn't do that.
Jump, you're too oold and fat.
No, he did that like when I was down here on my computer. He was doing that and I'm just like, dude, stop.
He's like, who are you talking to? It's a microphone, kitty. And then I honestly thought that even at $3, they could have doubled the price of $6. Because trust me, they kept the pop and the fucking popcorn at full price because my daughter always wanted to get fucking popcorn, and fucking
they're not stupid
and break my fucking pockets.
Oh no, they're not stupid, dude. They're not stupid. Like they know they're not gonna. I mean, yeah, it's a discount movie theater, but they're gonna still charge out the ass for concessions.
So what had happened was I went, I mean, I would still pay like $6, which is like what matinee prices are like $5.
And here's another thing too. Keep in mind too, with all this luxury seating bullshit going on, I wouldn't be surprised if that had something to do with it too. Like, I don't think they would invest that money in a second run theater and put like luxury seating in. But if that was part of the negotiations and that didn't happen either, that could be it too. Unfortunately, some theaters have decided that they're just going to do luxury seating because they can
charge more.
People can. That's the thing. Like, people do like the luxury seating, but here's the problem: it's reserved seating. It's cost you $1 more on top of the ticket price to reserve your seating, and then the theater's always sold out. I mean, it benefits my theater because I get all the access off of that, but it also is a very big annoyance because then if you don't schedule enough people, because like all of a sudden randomly like 100 people show up, like you're just like, you know what I mean? Like, what do I do here? What do I do? Like, I don't know. So, I can understand why they shut it down. I really hope. Pretty much if you guys here in Rochester that are watching this podcast or listening to this podcast when it comes out, if you want to go to second run, the best place to go is the cinema theater. It's on the corner of Goodman and It's Goodman and Clinton. It's South Clinton and Goodman Street.
Yeah, I haven't been in that one.
Yeah,
that's like a real artsy theater, though, right?
It's not an artsy theater. Basically, it's a really old theater, like to the point of where like you go into the lobby, which is really small. Mm-hmm. It's kind of here. How do I explain it? It's not big enough to hold the capacity that they're going to probably get from people. Mm-hmm. And, because it's so old, they're just going to have to deal with what they got. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to have to just deal with it, unfortunately. And, it's good for, like, a theater. Like, if you want to rent it out, that's the perfect theater to do it at. Mm-hmm. From what I've heard, it's cheap. And I would say to you that, yes, if it is cheap and you want to go see movies there, go ahead. But, I would say this too is, just keep in mind that this is not going to be a Movies 10. And, there again, you never know. Somebody might come in and go in and say, hey, look, you give me a low rent, I'll reopen the movie theater and we'll go from there. Yeah. Somebody may do that. I don't know. You won't see Regal do that. You won't see Cinemark do that. You definitely won't see AMC do that. But somebody locally here might do that. You never know.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a lot of people around here really did go to Movies 10. But there again, this is the reason why we tell people in the industry, if you don't want something to go away, keep going to the place. I understand that people don't have like a
disposable
income that they can do that all the time, but you got to understand something. If you want things to stay, you gotta invest in them, and the only way to invest in them is to do that. So we'll see. I mean, do I think that Movies 10 will open up with a different owner? I would say it's a slim possibility. I haven't heard anything, but there again, we'll see. Yeah. This week I know that they're cleaning out the theater. We'll see exactly what happens after that. Again, I would say, basically if you The only thing I could tell people here in Rochester is there's a discount day. My theater has it. The one in Henrietta has it. And a couple other theaters have it too. It's like under $6 to get in most cases if you have their bonus card or whatever. Go watch movies then. Then you don't have to worry about it. That's what a lot of people do. And honestly, you get to see the movie before it even gets to Redbox and that.
Yeah.
And by the way, a theater like mine doesn't have the luxury seating, so you're going to be able to get a seat. So there you go. You know?
All right. So I think with that, we'll be back with more Dick and Fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
all popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going to be a rough
How could you watch this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-n-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers, One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. All right, Paul, let's I can't believe we wasted, not wasted. We entertained our audience with the, so let's just dip real quick into the Oscar letter.
Dip the toe.
Might as well. Okay, and then Oscar shitting on me for having my cracked screen. He goes, Chris, really? A cracked screen? What year are you in? Ever heard of tempered glass?
No.
I change mine on my iPhone like I change my socks. eBay sells them for like $5.
So you change it a lot?
Well, I mean, tempered glass. I mean, I don't know. Is that like a thing that goes over the glass?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, no. Some iPhones have like, or not iPhones. Some phones, some really expensive phones that pretty much only rich people. See, the heat lasted.
Yeah.
It was like about 40 minutes before it even started. See?
Yeah.
What was I saying? So yeah, I mean, like, it's. Oh god, I lost my train of thought.
About the tempered glass. For
yeah.
iPhones.
I mean, there was that one. I can't think of the name of the phone, but there was a really expensive phone that they brought out. That if the only way that you could get it is if you were rich, because it was so much money. Mm-hmm. And like you could throw, like you didn't even need an OtterBox. You could throw it and like the glass wouldn't break.
Yeah.
So I mean, Yeah, I mean, I understand what he's saying, but that's unreasonable.
I mean, it was the phone was like well over a year old, which sadly enough in this fucking day and age means it's it's past its prime or whatever. But so he goes, eBay sells them for about $5. I recently dropped my iPhone fave down on concrete and sustained a crack. I peeled off the screen and replaced it with a new one. But then again, you don't even have Wi-Fi. More Durrell for 2017. So, which actually, with my next paycheck or two, I should be getting Wi-Fi in the house. I promise.
About fucking time.
Yeah.
I'll give you your mic stand back finally.
Yeah. And then
did I give that back to you?
No,
I don't think I did.
Did you?
I'll have to look.
You might have. I don't know. I don't know.
I'll have to look when I go home.
Oh, with a big mic stand.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Damn, I forgot about that. No, I don't think you got it back because I don't have it in my house.
I'll have to grab that, yeah.
All right, then just another letter. He goes, Chris, I know you're a hardcore Metallica fan. Check out the show Billions, episode 4. And what is Billions? I got to look that up. Billions show. But, let me just, oh wow, wonderful. What is the Billions?
It's probably
that's with what's his face.
I was gonna say it's probably a Spanish show.
No, it's Paul Giamatti, and that's where he starts the show, and even though he's a rich he helps people get money and shit like that, but he likes going to S&M dominatrix and shit like that, and
Oscar, okay. What the fuck are you watching?
Okay,
Jesus Christ.
So let's stay with the nerdy news for now. Big news in the world of Daredevil. I mean, not Daredevil, excuse me. I don't know. Well, I guess technically ours big news in Daredevil because we're having the Defender show. They teased a shot where they showed all 4 of the Defenders, but that was a couple weeks ago, which is funny because you see everyone looking forward, and then they have Daredevil there, and then someone put the caption it zooms into his face and goes, "Guys, what the fuck are we looking at?" But not Daredevil, excuse me, Deadpool. At the very end of Deadpool, post-credit scene, he teased Cable. He goes, Cable's going to be in the next one. And, of course, that's a ballsy move because, for you to tell people way before they had it actually planned that Cable's going to be in the next one. And I guess, it probably was a safe bet because I think Fox already had the rights to Cable and shit like that. So it was ballsy to say he's going to be in it, but, there was no guarantee. But they've been teasing. It was Hugh Jackman, which we'll get to Logan in a minute. And we'll also get to Tim Miller in a minute because Tim Miller, the director of Deadpool, kind of has another project that's been sort of people are speculating about. It was Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, and Pierce fucking Brosnan. So they're saying that people are speculating to have, they were joking that Deadpool's going to be in Logan. He's not going to be in Logan because Logan is a dark movie and it really doesn't have a place to have a light character like Deadpool. But Deadpool has plenty of Hugh Jackman jokes. But then they have Pierce Brosnan there. And Cable. Now, of course, Pierce Brosnan isn't the big fucking muscular powerhouse that I remember. To me, to be honest with you, my Cable experience is from the fucking X-Men cartoon.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie. I was never a big Marvel.
That's everybody's pretty much.
I was never a big Marvel comic book fan. I'm more of a DC guy. But it's I would have never said, "Oh yeah, Pierce Brosnan," but you kind of look at it and you go, "You know what? I could fucking kind of see Pierce Brosnan." An older guy.
I want the guy from Avatar.
That guy looked like him. Or there was a couple of speculations on who could be, but I think now we're the way they're teasing it, I think it's pretty much said and done that Pierce Brosnan. And you know what? People shit on Pierce Brosnan when he was 007. I'm saying maybe it's because of my generation or whatever. I would say Pierce Brosnan was my every generation kind of has.
Pierce Brosnan was one of the best 007s they had. Are you kidding me?
Well, look, for the people that love Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan was a joke. I'm just saying,
Right. No, I would agree with that.
And so, but I didn't grow up with Sean Connery. I grew up with Pierce Brosnan. Die Another Day.
When we think of Sean Connery, we think of at least my generation, what I think of is like Highlander.
Yeah. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
No, well, I mean, okay, yes, he was in that one.
What was the one he did with Catherine
Rock.
Zeta-Jones? The Rock. Was it Entrapment? The one he did with Catherine Zeta-Jones? Or the one he did with Catherine Zeta-Jones. Like the one movie where like she's like really hot, and then she's been trying to live off that fucking hotness from that one movie.
By the way, Indiana Jones doesn't count either.
Yeah.
I suddenly remember my Charlemagne. Oh,
Yeah,
what did Jen
we
say?
named the dog Indiana. Okay, Jen says I love him as 007. Yeah, I think he was our generation's 007. And that being said, let's not even fucking forget a whole generation of people who fell in love with 007 because of the fucking video game, GoldenEye. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many first-person shooter fans from that generation played Pierce Brosnan, as 007? So the idea that he's playing Cable, I'm like fucking super excited about. Like I dig it, and I think Pierce Brosnan could play the straight man. Could play it the way. Not the what's his face, Colossus. Not that he was a straight man. Colossus was a joke in the movie also, but Colossus in his own mind was serious. So I want Pierce Brosnan to be serious Cable, with Deadpool being the fucking Joker. You know what I'm saying? Deadpool being the, and I think he could do it. I dig Pierce Brosnan's acting.
But by the way, speaking of Wolverine, apparently there was they asked Ryan Reynolds about it, and apparently him and what is it? He has been like begging Hugh Jackman to do it, and Hugh Jackman is kind of like waving a little bit, like he hasn't committed to anything.
There's a nice
yet.
fucking paycheck in it. It's gonna be funny. Look, as dark, look. Okay, we can get to Logan in a minute, but even if he's in the movie for 2 seconds, it's an R-rated movie. We can have, even like what in like First Class, like Hugh Jackman's literally in the movie for like 3 seconds. And he's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Or "Who the fuck are you?" or something like that.
Here's the thing too. Like, with Wolverine, what did Jen say?
All right. Oh, Jen's saying for a younger 007, Ryan Reynolds would be a great choice. Yum. No. We're not saying Ryan Reynolds as 007.
No, fuck no.
We're saying Pierce Brosnan as this character Cable, in the Deadpool movies, and Cable was usually like a big muscular guy, silver head of hair, big fucking guns from the future, and
okay, so getting back to what I was saying, like we may see, because here's the thing, like, I don't think Fox is in any hurry to recast Wolverine. I mean, if they were, we would have heard something by now.
Yeah, give Hugh Jackman
obviously, yes,
Logan
Logan hasn't come out yet. Obviously, they're probably going to wait at least a couple years before they do something. But even then, like, it doesn't look like they're going to be doing an X-Men movie. So my thing is if you're not going to do an X-Men movie, why not just do something with Deadpool? You both have the rights to it. Mm-hmm. You might as well just do it.
Because what? Let me see. What? There's been 6 X-Men movies.
Yes.
There's 6 X-Men movies. The Bryan Singer ones, and then
they're all Bryan Singer except for that one
for Part 3. The 6 X-Men movies, fucking,
no.
Okay, Wolverine, X-Men Origins, and now Logan. 9 X-Men movies, of which Hugh Jackman has been in all of them. Even though, he was technically in First Class for literally 30 seconds. They walked up to him and he goes, "Who the fuck are you?" or "Get the fuck out of here," and he was gone. But you know what? I mean, that obviously, and that's the you're only allowed one fuck in a movie like that. So, that's sort of that alone, was good enough. Oddly enough, a character that is most loved was also in X-Men Origins. Which a lot of people pan as one of the worst comic book movies ever made, or at least the way that it ended.
Well, I mean that's another reason why they should just do it, because I think that it would be hilarious for them to throughout the movie he goes, well, what if I looked like he has that? Remember, he has the figure, so he just went, what if I look like this Wolverine? He'll be like, shut up.
Yeah,
and then he like slices off his arm, and then like his arm just grows right back.
Yeah,
and it's like,
put Hugh Jackman in the movie for 30 seconds. Okay. Oh, there is already a Deadpool and 2 in the works. I thought. Well, no, right now I think there. Well, that's what happened is the director Tim Miller wanted to go in a different direction than what the studio wanted, and I get the two confused. I think Tim Miller.
No. It was Tim Miller and Ryan Reynolds disagreed on where they wanted to go, so Tim Miller walked away. And that's as far as I know what it was.
But it's one of them. I forget which one. One of them wanted it to kind of be like Part 1, where it's small, like a small because Deadpool was, in the lack of a better term, a small movie. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a $200 million blockbuster.
Oh no.
I think Tim Miller wanted the next one, Part 2, to be fucking, Avengers money, Avengers scale. Like, this is going to be the big fucking... And I think Fox said, no, fuck you, we're not going to do it. We're going to keep it small. And I think even Ryan Reynolds kind of wanted to keep it small, and, keep it the way it is, keep it humble, and then, go with it that way. And I think that's why Tim Miller got pissed off and left. Which, in other news, Tim Miller and James Cameron are rebooting or doing another sequel to the Terminator. Which, I like Tim Miller. I mean, okay, obviously I like Deadpool. The quote unquote leaked footage that helped make Deadpool come to happen, and not to mention Batman Arkham Knight, the scenes in Arkham Knight where he fights Deadpool and shit like that. Like not all the special effects, but there were scenes in the Arkham Knight video game which were directed by Tim Miller.
Right.
This is a guy who loves. He's built a company from the ground up doing special effects. We can have a Terminator movie, the kind of CGI, because Deadpool, chunks of it, fucking look at Colossus. You know what I'm saying? Colossus looks like the way a Terminator would look almost. You know what I'm saying? And the joke is, not the joke, but what's Colossus? A big muscular Russian guy. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, no, he's not Russian. He's Austrian, but big Western European guy. So I think Tim Miller, along with James Cameron, I think Tim Miller will bring back what people like about Terminator in the movie. And I think if Tim Miller wants to do a fucking big $200 million blockbuster, you can do that with the Terminator. Like, he could bring it back to like where we actually give a fuck about the Terminator again. And the special effects are so good that we can they had a pretty good. I haven't seen it, but I saw the footage. I saw how they kind of recreated Arnold Schwarzenegger that's just, you got a request. They used a pretty decent CGI Arnold Schwarzenegger in the last Terminator movie. So you kind of use that technology, let Tim Miller have his fun with it. Like, you can't have old Arnold, 80s Arnold in a movie that's today, with the CGI and shit like that. So, I think Tim Miller is, if he does a fucking Terminator movie, it's going to be off the fucking chain. Mm-hmm. And then, on the other thing that we wanted to talk about, Jen says I'm here. Oh, okay. I didn't know you left. Then with that being said, I accidentally saw the trailer for Logan.
Accidentally.
Well, actually, I saw the teaser trailer accidentally, and then I said, fuck it, I might as well watch the whole trailer. So I guess what was Old Man Logan is now Young Girl Logan. Teaser, spoiler alert, but then again, if you watch this show, if you listen to our podcast, if you watch this podcast and listen to the podcast, I'm pretty sure you've seen the trailer by now for Logan. When I saw the cheeser or the beginning of the trailer, I thought it was a Pringles commercial. It's a girl in a little rinky dink gas station market or whatever. She pops open some Pringles, then she goes and she pops open a soda. She starts drinking. The guy's like, "What the fuck are you doing? You can't." Or he doesn't say what the fuck, but he's like, "You can't be doing that in here." Jen goes, "Have you seen the new Apprentice?" No, I haven't, but
nobody's gonna watch it.
I was in all fairness, I'm not a fan of reality shows, so it's not that I don't want to see it. And of course, they talked about it the next day on the radio. They're like, he was telling people, when he fired people, he goes, "You're terminated."
Yeah, we know Arnold's on it. Yeah.
You're terminated. And then he goes, "You have to get to the chopper." So, like, when the people got fired, they literally, like, left the boardroom, and there was a helicopter waiting for them.
That's
hilarious. So it's like, "You're terminated. You have to get to the chopper." And then when they left, he goes, "Hasta la vista, baby." And it's like, come on, really? I mean, look, I love Arnold. I want Arnold to work. Yes, keep giving the man money. But, I mean, come on, Geneva, thank you, Jen. She says it's horrible. Like, worse than you could imagine. And it's like, we're running out of celebrities. We got fucking, like, John Lovitz and shit like that. And worse than you could imagine. I was never a fan of reality shows, and I'm not about to get started now. Even as I love Arnold. Give us Terminator 8 or whatever the fuck it is where we're at now, or Terminator 7 or whatever. I think we're like if
Terminator 522.
I think technically, if it's the next one, it would be like Terminator 7, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 7,
something like that. Yeah.
So, give me another Terminator movie. I don't want to see him sitting in a boardroom. And he goes, he just summed it up perfectly. Okay, so all right, so we got Logan. Oh, so all right, so basically, from Old Man Logan, we got Young Girl Logan. It's basically the little girl has the same powers as abilities. She has the adamantium claws, but I think she only has 2.
Yeah.
You said it's X-23 or something like that.
I think that's what her designation is.
And once again, I never really followed the Marvel comics, so I don't know if this is a character that existed in the comics. A lot of people saying it's supposed to be like that video game, The Last of Us. No, I don't see it at all. Just because it's an older guy and a little girl. Sort of like, and it's not really post-apocalyptic, but they are driving through the desert and shit like that. And then, there's bad guy mutants or bad guy mutant handlers that trying to get their hands on her, and she's a weapon.
Yeah, apparently this is, like, the mutants are pretty much all gone now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there's only a couple left.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I could see why people draw parallels to The Last of Us. Does it look good? Yes, it looks good. I mean, it doesn't look great. It's got Patrick Stewart in it. Okay, you got my vote. You got old school, Professor X. I heard a rumor that this is not in the same universe as, like, the original first 3 X-Men movies. But then again, like, because he pulls out, like, an X-Men comic.
Yeah.
And he's like, but this is... But then again, you can have a world where the X-Men, quote unquote, sort of existed, and then, like, comics are sort of like cashing in on the X-Men. Someone goes, "Oh, we got these superpowers. Well, let's write stories about them and make comic books about
I think he said, "What did she say? Get to the chopper."
Yeah, Jen said, "Get to the chopper."
Yeah, so I think they just were. Because I think Wolverine, if I remember correctly, Wolverine says, like, something along the lines of, "That's not exactly how it went," or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in a long enough timeline, you had these people that really were mutants, and then you kind of made them into, you fictionalize their lives or take little bits of reality, and so that's why there would be X-Men comics and shit like that. But I mean, it looks good. I don't think it's gonna be great, Right. But then again, I was pleasantly surprised by X-Men Apocalypse or whatever. I didn't think it was a bad movie. People shitted on it. I thought it was pretty good. Not great, but just entertaining enough. And I think
X-Men Apocalypse was as somebody put it to me, it was an X-Men. It was a superhero movie. It was what it should have been.
Yeah,
and that's what it should be. Now, did people flock to watch it? No, but it did well enough where it's okay. Oh, apparently you want some attention, don't you?
Okay, so let's move off to the next thing. Next in big news, Black Adam, The Rock.
Yeah.
And I think they basically cemented the fact that there is going to be a solo Black Adam movie. Now, DC has, its track record with its live action movies have been spotty, but I like this. Because they had Suicide Squad, and Suicide Squad was a movie about the bad guys. Now we have Black Adam, a movie about the bad guy. And I like that idea. I like the fact that they can take The Rock, and is it going to be dark and gritty like the rest of the universe? Okay, maybe, but you could take a character, and I think sort of it's an origin story. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be like an origin story type movie, but we get to see the fall of the bad guy. Really, Kat? Can you really have to jump up here, like in the middle of us fucking recording? Like the worst fucking place you can be. If for those of you at home, you're staring at Paul's cat's ass in the screen. Okay, really, I'm gonna have to gently lift you up out of the way.
Get down, Shy.
Oh. What happens when you do a live podcast? Cats jump up on stuff.
Now
really, you couldn't have chose a worse place to jump up on.
Now you get to see. Oh, we got a thumbs up for that. See, that's what happens when you do a live podcast.
So with that, let me. I lost my train of thought.
Black
Adam. So they're giving us the bad guys. I like the fact that they're giving us the bad guys. So like Suicide Squad, and then then I think they're doing a Shazam movie by itself. Also, they're going to do a solo Shazam movie, which they're going to somehow weave into the fucking Justice League. But I like the fact that they're focusing on bad guys, and kind of like with Suicide Squad. Awesomeness, Jen says. Yeah, I like the fact that they're, give us these obscure bad guys. The same way like Guardians of the Galaxy came out of nowhere and like, who the fuck are all these people? And they gave us characters we cared about. With Suicide Squad, okay, yeah, everybody kind of knew Harley Quinn. Nobody knew anybody else in the movie. No one knew.
Definitely not.
Okay, maybe you knew Captain Boomerang, maybe Killer Croc from the Batman the Animated Series, but no one knew who the fuck Katana was or Amanda Waller.
By the way, I wouldn't call that Killer Croc. I would call that DJ Croc or something.
Yeah. That was not Killer Croc the way it should have been. People didn't know Enchantress. People didn't know Diablo. That being said, I like the fact that I like the fact that DC is like, okay, you know what? All right, Marvel, you go and have your superhero movies. Let's have like villain movies. And it's funny because, even though Suicide Squad was a villain movie, it gave us like the first real look at the Flash. I mean, yeah, he kind of showed his face in Batman v Superman, but it kind of showed us like the Flash in action. We finally saw Batman doing Batman shit, So I like the idea that we could focus on the bad guys, give us a taste of the good guys, but let it be its own thing. Marvel hasn't done that yet. We're like 16 Marvel movies in.
Yeah, but
there's no. How is there no Loki movie? There should have been a Loki movie by now.
Can I?
Not that I'm blowing Loki.
Interject in here?
But I'm just saying is you could make a lot of money if you made a fucking Loki.
Let me interject here because I think what you're missing here is the fact that Marvel does such a great job with their superhero movies that they don't really need to make villain movies.
They give us bland villain. That's sort of been an argument people have. People love the Marvel movies, but the bad guys in the movies have been kind of generic. Baron Zemo was kind of generic. Fucking the Army of Ultron robots has been kind of fucking generic. The Army of fucking Chitauri in the first Avengers were kind of generic. But and of course I love The Rock, so I'm very excited to see The Rock. And I want to see a movie with fucking The Rock and Ben Affleck punching each other in the face. That's or even Henry Cavill.
I don't think he's gonna punch him in the face. I think he would shock him in the face. But
Yeah, but you don't put The Rock. The Rock is there to fucking.
As long as he does the rock bottom once, we'll be fine.
Yeah. And that's like he did in the fucking Scorpion King. But I'm excited about that. Earlier this week I rented this movie Death Race 2050.
How was it?
It is so bad. And when I say bad, excuse me. And I hate when I hate people like, oh, it's so bad, it's good. I hate fucking people like that. But it is a bad movie. The characters are interesting. The cars are cool as fuck. It's definitely like a parody of like the way the United States has become. It's sort of the way like Idiocracy sort of like parodies the United States.
Right.
The same way even like WALL-E kind of parodies. Like WALL-E's like, here's like our laziness and shit like that to an extreme. That's like it's a satire. And as a satire and stuff like that, it is great as a satire. The action is kind of slow. The acting is fucking horrible. The acting is like the worst acting. It's like these people, I don't even think they were even trying. You can't try to act that bad. You're just like, I think those people genuinely thought they were doing good jobs, and then, but just
it's a direct to DVD thing.
Yeah. So I'm just saying but it's a fun movie. I saw it on Redbox. It's definitely a Redbox rental. And speaking of bad movies, Resident Evil comes out later this week, which I think I'm gonna.
No, I think this one will be good, but we'll see what happens. We'll reserve thoughts on that.
And I literally bought a couple months ago. It was like the first 5 movies on like in one DVD pack, and it was like $12. I'm like, 5 movies for $12. I can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So I actually watched them all. So now I'm all geared up and ready for episode 6.
Well, we'll get into it when it comes out. We'll see what happens. I think we're
pretty much done. I kind of look. Let's make this a fucking politics-free show. I know Jen joined us, and I know Jen was probably ready to tell us to go fuck ourselves. But we'll save the politics for another episode. I kind of like the fact that we kind of saved this whole episode just talking about nerdy shit. And speaking of nerdy shit. By the time this part of the show, you've already heard our ad for Comics Etc. Our local comic book shop. It's where I go and buy my comics. They were guys that tried to rob the place.
Oh, really?
Earlier this week. And then these geniuses who tried to rob the place took absolutely nothing of value. They reached over the manager's table and grabbed all these papers, and basically it was just like all his orders for the next week. Which, don't get me wrong, it sucks and he has to fucking start from scratch, and it was like a week's worth of work or whatever. But these guys, thinking what they were taking was valuable, ended up only fucking taking...
Did they get caught?
They're on camera. To the best of my knowledge, I mean, I follow them on Facebook. I haven't been in the store since it's been robbed. But I think if they caught the Andy Battaglia, the owner and proprietor of Comics Etc., would have mentioned it on the Facebook page. So for nerds, at least this just shows you that villains it's not all super villains. It's some fucking these guys are just fucking morons. And also, I mean, this is not nerdy news. It's just more of like my sad, pathetic life. My job is having a ball. What's the word I'm looking for? We're having like a party.
Winter social or whatever it is.
It's a winter. Now, of course, you don't want to have it in December because, then it's like, it's a holiday, it's about, Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever. And plus, let's just be real here. It's cheaper to rent a fucking hall in February. Who the fuck is renting a hall in February? But so I'm looking for a date, like to go. Like,
I mean, Jen's on here. Why don't you ask her?
No, I don't know. No, I'm just looking for someone to go with me, and I don't know. I'm thinking about doing like the corny thing, maybe taking my daughter or something like that. But
just come on.
But so anyone listening to the podcast, if they want to go. To the ball.
Jen, if you want to go to the ball.
No.
Chris is right here.
And let me see what else. That's everything else. That's it. Everything else is nerdy.
Somebody needs to get some sleep here, Chris.
Yeah, gotcha. So let's wrap it up.
That's what she said.
Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net where you can find all things show related. First and foremost, you can find links to our iTunes page, which the servers have been reset, so you're only going to get the last 6 or 7 episodes because that's all that's up really online. If you don't have an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod, you can find us on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER, the Stitcher app for Android devices. Put on Listen Later. Put Listen on offline so you can download all your episodes. Of course, unfortunately, with my new phone, it has the Android 5.1 Lollipop, which won't let you save to the SD card, and it's an Android thing, and it fucking pisses me off. And I did it with my own phone. I think I rooted my old phone, so I gotta figure out how to root this one.
Dude, you just buy a phone.
Yeah,
offline.
just get a good. Yeah, I just gotta get myself a halfway decent phone, and then So with that, the Listen Later option, and then of course, if you have a phone, you could also listen to us on the SoundCloud app. That's who's hosting our files. So you could download the SoundCloud app for Android and iPhone devices. Kevin Smith's Smodcast, Chris Hardwick's Nerdist, Mark Maron, Adam Carolla, This American Life, Serial. Every podcast worth listening to, and of course, Paul's other baby, the Tsunami Faithful podcast.
I've been advertising it on my fucking podcast. You have no choice now.
Every podcast worth listening to is on the Stitcher app, and of course, also on the SoundCloud app. What else? If you want to write to us the way Oscar has, you can write to us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. That's twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. Let me see. What else? We're on Twitter at Stranger Podcast. We want your money. We need your money. But if you can't give us a dime, it takes 2 seconds to share and like us. Share and like us on Facebook. I need your money. Well, I mean, I got the new job. I mean, things are okay right now. I mean, I'm broke, but I'm not as broke as I have been. Like, there's broke, and then there's like
broke to broke,
broke, you're like shit. I need some. Here's an ingredients that needs milk, and I'm fucking using like tap water. I haven't been that broke recently, thank goodness. But that being said, it takes 2 seconds to share and like us on Facebook. Join our Facebook group, Two Strangers One Podcast Network. If you're looking for the old episodes, like I said, unfortunately they're not available on Android. They're not available on iTunes. They're not even available on SoundCloud. But if you want to go back and listen to well over 4 years of hot podcasts, you could check us out on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and search for Two Strangers One Podcast. You can listen to old episodes. The most recent ones I just turned into files, so I have to get those up online. You could also follow my Stranger vlogs, which I have, once again, I've kind of been slacking on. But you could check out my old Stranger vlogs. I still haven't released the one where I shaved my beard yet. I think it's in my old phone that got cracked, but the file I think is still on there. So there's that. Let me see what else. I can't think of anything else. Oh yeah. I can't tell you to click like on the videos. I can't tell you to subscribe to the videos. I can't tell you to click the ads before the video and during the video and the little banners. But if you happen to do that, it would be very helpful to us, because every like helps, every share helps, every ad clicked helps. But I can't tell you to do that. So if you want,
he's not telling you to do that.
You know what to do.
But yet he's telling you to do that. You're such an asshole, Chris.
And then also, I mean, I advertise my book at the end of this podcast, every episode. What I've been doing is, if you listen to the ad a million times like our normal listeners do, I've had my second book, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, which is something I've been sort of like, dragging my feet on. I've been turning the files into audio files so I can put them up online. So hopefully sometime soon, maybe by saying it, it'll kind of get my ass in gear on getting it done. I have a program on my computer that reads the files, like it takes text documents unless you read them, and it reads it for you. Excuse me. And there's music that I've made that I'm putting in the background, which it's like electronic type music. So you can probably, hopefully in the next couple of months, I'll have them all out where you could actually listen to my second book, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, which I'll probably just put up on YouTube. So
which you'll just go to or whatever.
For each chapter, you have to watch, and it's like it's broken up into chapters. So you'd have to watch the video, and of course, if you want to click on the videos and the advertisements for those videos, so you kind of have to watch. It's like when all is said and done, it's going to be like 48 videos, and each video is like 10 minutes. But that's a decent sized book. If you listen to the audiobook, it's 5 hours altogether. Because I'm
going to be sitting there listening to it and going.
I put all the audio files together, and it's about 5 hours. Which if you listen to an audiobook, that's not even a big audiobook. That's that's like half an audiobook. So I'm working on that. So keep your eyes open for that, or should I say, keep your ears open for that. I can't think of anything else. I acquiesce the floor to you, sir.
About time. Took you long enough. Anyway, so you can follow me on Twitter at Paul Biscrillo. You can ask me questions. It's ask.fm/Paul Biscrillo. You can also email me, paulbiscrillo@tsunamifaithful.com, if you have anything you want to talk to me about. No, Oscar, you're not allowed to email me. And Nerdcore Absolution Volume 3, I haven't talked about that in a while. That is out right now if you guys want to get it. It's on iTunes. It's available on it's available on a lot of online stores. The most important one is Bandcamp. I will say, probably in the next few weeks, we'll be releasing the deluxe version. That one you can only get on Bandcamp. The first track will probably be coming out in a week or two, depending on when I can get some fucking time. And so just look for that. So that's it.
Well, we certainly hope you enjoyed listening, had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye. You should be fapping.
Hit the end button.
Yeah. Oh, I'm done.
All right, here we go, man.
Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled C-O-L-O-N.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? I smell sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I gotta meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
Yeah,
man.
it is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show. I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonePodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.